In a small dusty town called Uguma lived two sisters, Nkechi and Ada. Nkechi, the elder sister, was the quiet type. She always tied her scarf tightly and walked with head low. She respected everyone and never caused trouble. Her heart was pure. Her hands hardworking. She sold vegetables at the market and used the little she made to support her fiancé, Chuka, a poor village farmer. Now, Ada was the complete opposite. Ada was the younger sister, bold, flashy, and sharp-tongued. Every evening, she would paint her face, wear clothes that barely covered her, and step into the night like a shadow with purpose. She returned at dawn with plenty of money, and their mother, Mama Ada, would clap for her like a trained audience. My Ada, the lioness of this house, she would say, counting the crisp notes in her hand. Then she would turn to Nkechi and hiss, "You, always coming back with one small bag of pepper and onions. What can that do in this house? Lazy girl." Nkechi never answered. She just focused on her life and on Chuka, who she loved with all her heart. One day, she made a decision. She took all her savings and gave it to Chuka. "Go to the city," she said softly, her eyes shining with hope. "Start something. I'll wait for you." Chuka thanked her so much and hugged her. "I'll make you proud, my love," he said. Years passed. Chuka returned, not as a poor farmer this time, but as a rich man. He drove into Uguma in a big car that made children run after it, shouting, "Uncle Chuka! Uncle Chuka!" His clothes were fine. His wristwatch was gold, and his smile was still for Nkechi. Nkechi cried that day, tears of joy. She had waited. She had believed. But not everyone was happy. Ada watched from the window, biting her bottom lip, hard enough to draw blood. Her eyes followed Chuka as he lifted Nkechi into his arms. Something dark stirred inside her. That night, she sat with her mother. "Mama," she whispered, "Chuka belongs in this house, but not with Nkechi. He should be with someone who knows how to enjoy money, someone like me." Mama Ada did not blink. She simply nodded. "You deserve better," she said. "That sister of yours has always been lucky. It's time you collect what is yours." And just like that, mother and daughter became something dangerous. The next few days, Ada started dressing even more boldly, always making sure to walk past Chuka when he was outside. She smiled too sweetly, laughed too loudly, and bent too low when picking anything. But Chuka paid no attention. His heart was with Nkechi, and that made Ada furious. One morning, as Nkechi poured water in the kitchen, Ada stood by the door, her eyes narrow like a snake watching a rat. She waited. Then, like a flash, she pushed Nkechi from behind, and the boiling water splashed all over Nkechi's face. Screams tore through the air. The pot hit the floor with a bang, and Nkechi collapsed, clutching her face, crying out in pain. Ada stood back, watching, not a single tear in her eye. When Mama Ada came running in, you'd think a normal mother would shout or panic, but she just stood beside Ada and said, "It was an accident, right? Go and rest. Let her learn how to fight for what she wants." Nkechi was rushed to the clinic at the edge of Uguma town, her screams piercing through the narrow dusty streets. Neighbors gathered, whispering, shaking their heads, but no one dared speak up. After all, everyone knew Ada's temper and her mother's sharp tongue. The doctors did their best, but boiling water is cruel. It leaves no mercy. When the bandage were removed days later, Nkechi looked in the mirror and froze. Her face, the face Chuka once held so gently in his hands, was no longer hers. It was scarred, swollen, uneven. Her left eye blurred, partially damaged. She looked like a stranger. No, she looked like a victim of her own bloodline. Ada never visited, Neither did Mama Ada. But Chuka came. Once. He stood at the door, barely able to look at her, shifting uncomfortably. And when he finally spoke, his voice was cold. "I didn't expect this to be so bad," he muttered, barely making eye contact. I have to go. You should rest. I'll check on you later." That was all he said, and that was the last time he ever came. A week later, he was seen driving Ada around town, laughing, blasting loud music, his hands casually resting on her thigh as though Nkechi never existed. Ada was now parading around town in Chuka's car like a queen on stolen land. Nkechi returned home, walking slowly, her face covered with a scarf. She hoped, maybe hoped a little too much, that Chuka would come to her, that Ada would feel some guilt. But instead, she met mockery. Ada laughed when she saw her. "You still did this house? I thought you had met a way like the rest of your face." Mama Ada didn't even blink. "You caused it for yourself. You wanted to carry man on top poverty. Look at you now, manless and useless." Nkechi's heart shattered all over again. Nkechi tried to talk to him one more time, even with the pain still fresh on her face. "Chuka, it's me. It's Nkechi. Don't forget everything we have been through," she said, her voice breaking. But Chuka stepped back and hissed, "Don't make this hard, please. I can't marry someone I can't even look at. I'm sorry." And just like that, he turned his back on the woman who once sacrificed everything for him. Nkechi was shattered. She cried every night, alone in her small corner of the house, her pillow soaked with tears, her heart heavy with betrayal. She had lost not just her beauty, but her dignity, her one true love. And all the years she worked and saved for Chuka now felt like a cruel joke. She gathered courage and went to speak to her sister. Maybe, just maybe, there was still a soul buried under all that envy. But when she arrived at the compound, she met Ada and their mother sitting outside, eating roasted corn and laughing. Ada looked up, chewing loudly. "See what we have here, queen of boiled water." Nkechi begged Ada once, just once. "Ada, please," she said softly, her voice trembling. "Don't do this. Leave Chuka. You know what he means to me. Please, my dear sister." Ada looked at her, paused for a second, then burst into laughter. "Chuka," she said, chewing loudly. "That one a village donation. You think I'll leave fine boy with Benz because of burnt offering? I beg chiefs." And their mother, she laughed too. "You better face your life, or go and look for another poor man to sponsor. Who knows, maybe next time you'll pour yourself acid." The cruelty was endless. Nkechi's heart cracked again. She stood there, tears silently streaming down her scarred cheek, realizing she wasn't just betrayed by her sister, but also by her own blood, her mother. But Nkechi stayed in that same house. She stopped crying in public. She stopped begging. She started to sew small things, fixing torn clothes for neighbors, braiding little girls' hair on Saturdays. Not because she wanted to be seen, but because life had to go on, somehow. Meanwhile, Chuka and Ada had their big wedding. Loud music, meat everywhere, and flashy outfits. But it was all for show. That day, Chuka and Ada left for Lagos. Mama Ada danced like someone who had won a lottery. "Let this chapter open doors for you both," she said, hugging Ada tightly. "My daughter, you are the crown of this family." Nkechi stood by the window silent, her face now permanently scarred, remained hidden behind a scarf. But her pain couldn't hide. It followed her like a shadow. She had cooked for Chuka with love. She had worked long hours braiding hair, washing clothes, selling petty goods, all to sponsor his journey to the city. She had believed in him when no one else did. And now, her sister has stolen him. Not just her sister, her mother helped her to do it. Ada's last word before entering the car echoed like thunder in Nkechi's mind. "Take care of the house, big sister. I'll take care of the man." Nkechi didn't respond. She just watched them disappear into the distance. Chuka, the man she gave everything to, and Ada, the woman who took everything away. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Life in Ugwuma didn't stop. The chickens still clucked, the local women still gossiped, and Nkechi still woke up each day to sweep the compound, tend to the small garden and survive. But in Lagos, everything was not as perfect as it seemed. At first, it was heaven. Chuka and Ada moved into a big apartment on the mainland. Ada took photos for social media, posing beside Chuka's car like she owned the world. But soon, the cracks began to show. Ada's true nature returned. Ada stopped cooking. She stopped cleaning. She came home at odd hours. She started going for drinks with businessmen, but never returned with job offers. Only with new handbags, bold red lipstick, and unfamiliar perfumes that lingered on her skin like secrets. And Mama Ada, she never scolded her. Instead, she'd say, "Ada baby, don't forget to bring something for Mama oh. Life is short. Chop it well. Don't let any man cage you, my daughter. You are a hot cake. Use what you have. Bring something home, Biko. Don't dull yourself." Ada would wink. "Don't worry, Mama. Now 4 runs tonight. We go cash out." Chuka asked her one night, "Where do you go every evening?" She replied without blinking, "To places you can't afford to take me." He stood there stunned. This wasn't the Ada he thought he married. Or maybe it was. Maybe he was just too blinded by beauty and temptation to see the truth. And when he tried to confront her, Ada didn't flinch. "You left your village girl with a burnt face for me, remember? Now deal with me." And Chuka, the man who once walked with pride in his designer shoes, now sat in silence on the veranda, smoking like a tired soldier. The fire he thought he stole was now burning him slowly. She returned to her mother in the village, 7 months pregnant and weeping. But the reception was not what she expected. Her mother looked at her with disappointment. "So after everything I did for you, this is how you repay me? You have become a disgrace. You have become a beggar. You brought shame upon me. How can I defend this in the village square?" Ada cried harder. Her mother, who once praised her for being sharp and fast, now couldn't even stand the sight of her. Ada had become a burden. The food she once earned with her body was gone. Her mother's respect was gone. And now, so was her dignity. Meanwhile, Nkechi was glowing. She stepped out of a black SUV glowing. She had undergone her surgery, her face restored, her confidence reborn. Obinna stood proudly by her side, showering her with love and respect. He visited her family, paid her bride price, and their wedding was the talk of the region. From village girl to queen, from heartbreak to honor, it was grand. The music, the crowd, the food, the happiness. Nkechi was finally reaping joy after years of pain. Then one dusty evening, Chuka returned to the village, broke, shamed, ashamed. He wore torn slippers and had nothing but regrets. And as fate would have it, he walked right into Nkechi's wedding celebration. He stood from afar, watching the woman he had once discarded. She wore white lace, her face radiant, her smile glowing. He wept. Later that evening, he approached her as she sat under a tree with Obinna. He fell to his knees. "Nkechi, please," he began. He whispered through his tears, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was blind." She looked at him, not with bitterness, but with quiet strength. "You were blind, but now you see. Unfortunately, it's too late." Ada and their mother came crawling too, crying, kneeling. "Nkechi, please, forgive me," Ada sobs. "I lost everything. I raised you to be better than me," Nkechi replied, her voice calm. "But instead, you became worse. Mama, you failed us. You taught us to hate each other. You taught us to compete and turned us into enemies. You turned us into weapons. You watched your daughter destroy me and you clapped." Their mother sobbed. She fell to her knees, groveling. "Forgive me, Biko, my daughter. I was blind. I was stupid. Please, forgive me. I am your mother." Nkechi signed. She turned to Ada. "I forgive you, Ada, and I'll take you with me. We'll raise this child right. We'll break the cycle." Ada nodded, crying, relieved. "But Mama," Nkechi shook her head, "you have to stay here. You created this storm. Now live in it." And with that, Nkechi left, hand in hand with her billionaire husband, her sister by her side, and her dignity fully restored. Their mother sat outside her hut, watching them drive away alone. Moral lessons. A mother who shows favoritism poisons her own home. Betrayal may win temporarily, but it always collects its debts. Inner beauty, kindness, and character will always outshine beauty or seduction. When you sow betrayal, you reap regrets. Forgiveness is powerful, but trust, once broken, may never be rebuilt. Karma has no deadline. It shows up when you least expect it. And most importantly, never trade love for lust. You lose every time. And above all, never trade gold for glitter. Thank you so much for watching this story to the very end. If it touched your heart, made you think, or even brought a tear to your eye, please don't just scroll away. Show some love by hitting that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments and share this video with someone who needs to hear this. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never miss another powerful story like this one. Let's keep the stories alive. Let's keep the lessons going. Until next time, stay kind, stay real, and stay tuned. Bye. Chuka's business was booming, or so he thought. One bright morning, his business partner and longtime friend Chuma visited him at home. The mood was cheerful. They laughed, joked. "Finally, I get to meet the woman who turned your head," Chuma said, smiling. Ada appeared from the kitchen wearing a silk dress that left little to the imagination. She smiled, that wicked kind of smile that hid secrets and promised danger. "He must be Chuma. Chuka talks about you all the time," she said, walking closer. Chuka introduced them. "Meet my wife, Ada." Chuma smiled and looked at her. They shook hands. Her finger lingered just a second too long. He stared at her with something deeper than casual curiosity. And Chuka even ran upstairs to fetch a project file for Chuma to review. That was when Ada struck. Left alone in the living room, she leaned in close, flashing a smile that wasn't just friendly. Chuma raised an eyebrow. She gave him a sly look. No words needed. Before Chuma came back downstairs, they had already exchanged numbers, fingers brushing as phones passed, eyes locking in a silent agreement. From that moment, things spiraled. Ada and Chuma began sneaking around. First, casual meetings, then hotel rooms, then late-night rendezvous. Ada couldn't stop. She was addicted to the attention, the danger, the thrill. Ada didn't stop at Chuma. She had other men, other numbers, other rendezvous. She had become addicted to the thrill, the attention, the control. Soon, she found out she was pregnant. Chuka was overjoyed. He threw a small party, called her mother in the village, bought Ada expensive clothes and prenatal vitamins. "This baby will be the beginning of our new life," he said, placing his hand on her growing stomach. But Ada, she didn't flinch. She only smiled. Not because she was happy, but because she wasn't sure if the child was even Chuka's. While Chuka was dreaming of fatherhood, Ada continued her double life, disguising her betrayal with soft laughter and fake tenderness. Her affair with his friend, his own business partner, was still very much alive. She told herself it meant nothing. "It's just fun," she whispered. "Besides, he doesn't know." Meanwhile, back in the village, Nkechi's life has started to bloom again. One rainy afternoon, she helped a stranger who had slipped by the village stream. She didn't know it then, but that simple act would change her entire life. His name was Obinna. Humble, kind and thoughtful. He helped her with the chores, encouraged her, and slowly became the shoulder she cried on. Weeks passed, and they grew close. Then one evening, he revealed the truth. He wasn't just any man. He was the only son of Chief Nnaji, the richest man in the village. His grandmother, a wise old woman, had seen Nkechi from afar and had chosen her for her grandson. Obinna had come to the village in disguise to test her heart, and she passed. With deep admiration in his eyes, he knelt and told her, "I want to marry you, Nkechi, and I'll make sure you get the best surgery, the best care, and the best life you've always deserved." Nkechi gasped. She broke down in tears. She didn't just find love, she found restoration. After all the betrayal, after all the tears, was this real? She looked at him, and for the first time in years, her heart whispered, maybe joy isn't a myth after all. And just as her scars began to fade, life was preparing to expose some very dark truths in the city. 2 months later, the EFCC stormed Chuma's house. He was calm at first, laughing, bragging that nothing would happen. But when the agents pulled out files, bank statements, shell companies, suspicious transfers, his mouth dried. He was arrested immediately. And then, like a house of cards, everything collapsed. Chuka was in a meeting when they arrested him. Confused, furious, he kept shouting, "What is going on?" But the truth hit him like a cold water to the face. His own friend, his so-called brother, had used their joint company to launder money, drug money, fraud money, dirty money, all in Chuka's name. They were business partners. Everything Chuma did affected him too. And the law doesn't care if you were unaware. Accounts frozen, cars seized, properties locked. In a single day, Chuka lost it all. And that wasn't even the worst of it. Chuka's world came crashing down. And just as he was trying to breathe, the DNA results hit him like a brick. The child Ada was carrying wasn't his. Rage, pain, disgust. That night, he packed her bags and threw them out. "I lost my life, my name, my dignity, and you. You have been lying to me all along." Ada sobbed, begged, knelt, nothing worked. He slammed the door and never looked back.